the end of the set the top.
Where do you want it?
Just over, I think. Right?
Yep, I think that's good.
That it had enough.
I thought it had that much tension on it to sober up like that. It's just, it's expanded is the problem,
Yeah.
so you can't get the threads on it. There you go. Perfect.
Now,
Deadly.
alright. Alright, let's set the top here.
When you get the new Velcro, will this part be harder?
A little. Okay, quick passenger brief. Things to not touch would be any of these black hoses. There's some behind you here as well. Don't be grabbing those. Don't grab any of these lines here. Pretty much none of the controls either.
Okay.
Things you can hold on to. You've got the uprights. You can wrap your arm around an upright. You've got handholds on the front of the basket here. You can grab the tops of the tanks as well. come in, we can either come in and just set down real nicely, or we might come in, bump and drag a little bit, and sometimes we can come in, bump, drag, and the basket will lay over. It's perfectly fine and lots of fun. Let's see here, any medical conditions I should know about?
Nope.
Awesome. All right. So, let me get... Okay, come on in there, Travis. And we'll have you connect to this side. And then if I could get you to go ahead and look above me and make sure that there's... All right. On the visor in the truck. So let's get warm and ready to go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Make sure that as we do start to take off, if we start going back toward there. But remember, it's bigger than you. It won't more mass. See you later.
Okay, so what's your flight plan?
All right, so I was going to try and stay a little bit lower. I just want to make sure we didn't have any false lift here real fast. But I wanted to try and stay a little bit lower and ride this quote-unquote drainage out. See how far this way we can go. As we saw, the pieball was coming back at us. Half the reason why everybody went to the other side of the field was for that reason. So I'm going to try to sort of stay fairly low this morning,
okay,
and see how far we can take this in this southerly direction. And yeah, I mean, always in the back of my mind, I'm like, when the winds are blowing opposite direction up top, you know, I'd love to land back here, but we'll see what we actually get.
Did you see a pieball that was coming back north convincingly?
Yes.
Okay.
The first one we launched, I don't know about convincingly north, but some north, and definitely west.
Yeah, that was the part that's really intriguing, is there shouldn't be anything going west,
right,
you know? Let's see the steam on the defix plant. Looks to me like that steam down there might be going east. I can't quite tell.
Yeah.
It does feel. I often use that water tower as a marker.
Yep.
That I find left of that is easy, right of it is less easy.
More, yeah.
How the instrument's been working?
So far, so good.
I think it was just that bad setting. I don't.
Yeah.
US Chaser, it's US Sunrise radio check.
Kilo Sunrise, copy that. I don't know why I drew a blank. So Brinks Tower, this is how hot air balloon, right?
Yep.
Springs Tower, this is hot air balloon November 74008.
74008, Springs Tower.
All right, one balloon launching from your west today. Colors are orange and yellow.
Hot air balloon 74008, Roger, Colorado Springs, altimeter 2999, wind call.
74008, copy that, thank you.
So how's the new checklist working out?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
I did write one other thing I wanted to do, but not right here at rooftop.
Okay.
Potentially, I'd like to practice lighting the whisper.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever done that since the very first day you showed me how to do that. So, if and when we get up to altitude, I may like to do that. I don't know. Certainly not right now, because not the time to be playing with that.
This feels like a pretty good track to me.
Yeah.
Do you think you can get into the lake over here with this path?
Being pretty close.
Pretty close. And oftentimes I find when you cross over, you do get a little bit of a left.
A little bit of a left.
That'd be fun. I want to take a couple of pictures of the
Actual water.
Amazon dirt moving too.
Oh, yeah.
Because you sent me that article.
Yep.
And like 5 minutes later, Baggett sends me the same article.
Oh, yeah.
And we've now found a way to go to the county assessor's website, and it tells you precisely the property boundaries.
Right.
And the new thing that we figured out was a way that I can download that property boundary into Google Earth.
Yes. So that we can include it in our chart.
Yep. What I'm thinking is I'm probably going to mark the new Amazon and the old Amazon as red.
Right.
Sort of better safe than sorry. You know?
Yep.
And so my hope was if I could get a couple of pictures today, that'll help Tim sort of get his brain around it.
Right.
And then we'll look at individual property lines and decide what to declare red. And because what I'd like to do is just update the map and make sure that we've got everything current before summer.
Right.
And get everybody a new version of the hot air app and stuff like that.
Right. Too much speed.
See, they flew a gas balloon out of Fiesta Field.
I did. I didn't know that it was out of Fiesta Field, but I did see that. I saw Troy and others. I don't think Troy went, but he was out there.
I think it was Peter and Dave Eichhorn and Ken Toole.
Gotcha.
Fiesta Field is sort of the default place. One, because it's just nice grass, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even in the winter, it's still grass. It's not green,
Yeah,
but
right, it's grass, right.
and they've got in Fiesta Field, in that specific area, they've got a grounding field.
Oh, right. For you got a ground. Right. We don't want things blowing up.
So it's probably more precaution than is necessary, but boy, if you have the facility, why not, right?
Right.
So, what went through your mind as you started inflating and the other 3 balloons drove away?
Well, the very first thought I had was that's what I get for not hanging out with all the pilots.
Okay.
That was my first thought. My second thought was that I put the pieball up. I was checking also with my cigarette smoke, and I knew that we were getting a little bit of variable.
So that's why you smoke.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, yep.
Way to
Free
plan
wind
ahead.
meter, yeah. But my thought was I watched the pieball. My smoke is still blowing this way. We almost always have a bit of a drainage, and my thought was, besides the fact I'm already out, I don't want to waste the other 20 minutes. If I do waste the 20-30 minutes moving sites, I'm going to lose whatever south I had. And so I was convinced that I could get out here far enough, even if we had those upper, what we were seeing with the pieball, assuming that those were still there, that further than that, almost any direction out of that field is doable. And
especially
so,
at these speeds.
yes.
Right?
So, my thought was oh well, I don't get the pretty picture of everybody,
Right.
but I'm also going to be in the air before everybody else, and whatever drainage there is going to be, they're going to lose because they're not going to be up in time for that. And so I felt comfortable because we did the pieball, I watched the pieball, I was convinced that we would have enough of this that even if all of that changed, that it still wasn't horrible at this speed. That even if we started heading north or northwest, there's stuff out there to land on. So I was ready to go. That's what went through my head.
I think that's all good logic for sure. I think there's a strong case to be made for timing.
Yes.
The bottom line is I think they're going to have a beautiful flight over there.
No
I don't
doubt.
think they made a mistake in
No.
But the fact that we're in the air probably half an hour before they are.
Right.
I think we're going to get drainage. With the cloud cover, I would expect the drainage to last a little longer than normal.
Right, because the sun's not changing that, right.
And now, my other internal dialogue was from an instructor's perspective. If we ended up getting somewhere and flying back into town, I didn't anticipate it being windy.
Right.
And that was a decent lesson for congested flying.
Right,
So, so I wasn't too worried about it either. But it's always a little bit, I think it should cause you caution
Sure.
when your peers say, nope, this isn't good, I'm
Right.
not going.
Right.
I think the risky part is when people just then blindly say, oh, well, then I'll go too. But
Right, well, without a solid reason for doing it,
right, I think it was right on. I think I could have easily argued either direction.
Right.
Where we see people get in trouble is sort of the lemming effect, and they didn't look at the pieball, they didn't pay attention,
Right.
they didn't make their own
Right,
decision, but,
right.
well, Dave went over there, so.
Right.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you don't want to be the lemming,
Right.
but you also don't want to be the renegade that says, screw all you guys,
Right.
I'm just going here because I'm better than all of you.
It's certainly
not
that
safe
did
either.
not cross my mind, right.
Cars here, they must be getting ready for a game of something.
Yeah.
Does baseball season start yet?
Asking the wrong guy. I'll tell you what primaries win, but don't ask me about sports.
These guys do baseball. Because I've also seen sort of Little League football in these
Oh, yeah.
fields as well. Jessica texted me while I was taking a picture. Okay, so what class airspace are we in?
Currently we're in Class Charlie.
And if we didn't have some special gentleman's agreement, what are the entry requirements to get into Class C?
Well, you need to contact the tower, get permission, and anytime that you're in Class C or better, or B, etc., you need a transponder.
The way I read the rules is that I would argue that this isn't quite the right terminology, but I would argue you need two transponders now.
The ADSB one.
You need a Mode C transponder and an ADSB.
Right.
Because I've not read anything that implied that the ADSB rule replaced
the other one.
It was just in addition to.
Right.
Now maybe there would be a time in the future where they've said, okay, we've got ADS
Everywhere.
yeah, everywhere,
Right.
and it's so common now, but bags and bags of that black rubber stuff.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we're going to get enough left to get over to the... Maybe.
And so, if you were to find left, where do you think you'd find it?
Well, from what I saw in the pieball, it looked like it was a little bit higher to get some of that east. There was a thin layer there where it was going that way, but much higher. It seemed like the layers were thin, for sure.
Oh, sure.
And so...
Because see, during our flight so far, I feel like the lower you've gotten, the more left we've
Do you
got.
feel like that? Okay.
It's subtle.
Right. Well, we're down here. We can try that.
Yeah. Now, is it my imagination, or did we just get a little bump to the left?
I feel like you're right about
Maybe
that.
a little
Yep.
bit. It's not a lot. It's not.
No, but it is a little bit, yeah.
But sort of that, you know, you can start to see, when we were up just a little bit, I could see the lake.
Right.
But you could see the houses, and that tip of the houses there, that's sort of the ideal path. And I feel like we're going darn near it.
Right.
You love that turning back.
I do. It has a lot of uses besides changing the view and getting us on quote unquote straighter path or forward flight quote unquote. It's also a nice little counterbalance to my overburn tendency. it's also fun just to spin around.
Yeah. It's as long as you can keep sort of walking around and keep yourself oriented, I think it's neat to change the view. So notice how there's this strip of grass. I think that's not their property.
Right.
Personally. But
You had mentioned that you saw that one.
I don't know if it's real property over there or if it's just a strange easement. This is a separate piece of pier as well.
Right.
So when I was looking at the county assessor, I saw that long strip.
Yeah.
I saw that field that looks like it's been mowed and it's got the fence.
Yep.
And then this chunk that looks like it goes up to roughly the stream or maybe up to the edge of their dirt work, I don't know. And then on the other side of this curved road, everything up to the paved road is all city.
Some pronghorns running away from us there. Yeah, definitely feeling a breeze on my face. What does that tell you we're gonna do? I feel like it means that we're going to either speed up or slow down. Like, that's not the answer you wanted.
Well, it's good to note that. Well, the fact that we're feeling it directly in our face on the path tells us we're not going to get some dramatic turn, probably. Typically, when you're coming down and you feel it in your face, that means the balloon's got more momentum and you're dragging through calmer air. So as we come down into this area, we will slow down.
Gotcha.
The way I visualize that is the balloon is up in faster air and it's dragging the basket through calm air.
Makes sense. That helps me visualize that. Oh, it's my sticker.
Your safety note.
Yeah. It was just I did one of the two. The other one was what we talked about with the
Whisper.
whisper. But I definitely feel like we slowed down a little. Now, I noticed it also in the manual said to not use these blast valves partially. Like it says to open it all the way.
Yeah.
And that partial opening can cause it to freeze. That's what it was saying. I'll be honest, I have been running it partially almost all the whole time.
Yeah, it's a relatively low risk, I think, and the reason is the way that stem is built is there's an O-ring on the top and bottom, and if you open it partially, then you potentially have fuel ring around the O-ring. However, with this burner, there is a risk it will lock open. And so then if you're using it fully and then your hand slips or whatever, you potentially have more fire than you'd intended. Which
there are worse problems.
Yeah, here it doesn't matter, but let's say you're doing a landing, you know, and you're doing that last puff and you lock it on and then you bounce and then you take out 12 panels. Hypothetically. I've seen it more than once.
Yes.
That's one of those where it's like get your hand off the burner before you hit the ground.
Right.
You know? I like what you did with the lines. I think that generally lies better.
Yes, I agree.
This is a little bit awkward to have to reach around or through.
Right.
I don't know if through or around is better, but either way, it's a little awkward, but not bad.
No. It was definitely out of my path of the fire.
Yes, that is better. think you can get into the lake.
I think so.
Certainly feeling like it's, and I felt like when you were right on the deck, I
It
felt
was
like
more
we were even more left.
yeah.
So then you got the lake and the school and the trade zone and
Yes.
everything.
They're still not up.
I've been trying to avoid Fountain Valley School for a while, by the way.
I think you said something about an issue at Labor Day liftoff.
Yeah. And what was interesting is we've been going back and forth with emails, but one comment he made was, well, the local guys land there all the time and it's been totally fine. And so I think that I just sort of wanted to let it cool off a little bit.
Yep.
and-
Yep. Makes sense.
What would you think about shooting and landing once we cross that road?
Sounds like a perfect plan.
No harm in getting extra landing practice, right?
Nope. I feel like we're going right more now.
I do too. Almost like the left was 20 feet higher or something. I don't know why, but I've gotten that turn coming in here before. And the land features don't explain to me why that's happening. You know, there's not a big slope. There's not a river coming through
Right.
here. I don't know what caused it. But yeah, now that you've even bumped up even
Yep.
the 10 feet, you've straightened
Uh-huh.
out. See this black?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
That is.
Me and my overburning. bit of speed on us. Let's go ahead and get in the landing position there. Pretty fast. Call that a touch and go.
Okay. So if we were going to land, what would you do differently?
Rip out completely at that point.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought your approach was perfect. I mean, obviously just greasing it in. And then what I like to do is just like you did, just as we were touching, you did that last burn, then exactly, just take the whole vent and then it just sort of, you just drag in.
Right.
This is relatively smooth out here, so it'd be...
Go. Well, we gotta get up over these houses, so.
It'd be nice if as we climbed up, we got that left turn in there again. I mean, it's possible, we might, you know. Just don't see any other balloons. Let's see, you lit the burner right at 7:30, and it's 8:07. So, we've been hot for 40 minutes already. Almost. It feels to me like as you're climbing, you're getting more left.
Still rocking from the touch and go, yeah. There's a red top.
Yep. Celebrate the fact that we see some water in here.
I know. Pretty exciting.
Okay, now do you know how to read the water for the wind? Now that we have water, it's informative. It would be better if it was clear, right? But you can see how it's sort of shiny on this end, and then it gets hazy over there. That might just be shadows of the clouds, which is why it's tough. But what that tells you is that line is the direction of, is orthogonal to the wind. So the wind is going across the lake that direction, and it's calmer, and then it's ruffling up the water. Right. Terry and Corey, and they're both up. See Dave, but then in fairness, I don't actually know what I'm looking for. I think it's got some fluorescent greens in it. what I was describing might just be a shadow.
Right. But I know what you mean. I've seen that certainly on, you know, mountain lakes, things like this, where the direction the wind is blowing from tends to be calmer and smooth right at the shore, and then as you get further out. I feel like we're going left.
So you put something else on your pre-solo test, which I think was accurate, but it was a little bit counterintuitive, and it suggested burning this tank down first.
Yes.
I was a little bit unclear how much it would matter, but I thought it was important to note that even if you drained it down to 10%, there's, what did you say, 2 hours?
Yeah. Yes, it was a little counterintuitive because, you know, so far I've been burning it last.
Right, because I want to have all the fuel for my pilot.
Right.
Exactly.
But when I read that at 10% it'll last for 2 hours, I thought, okay.
Yeah.
The only problem with that then would be letting it get away from you.
Taking it down to 0.
Yes, right. But you know, just paying attention, timing. Yeah. Right.
It turns out in ballooning there's a lot of paying attention.
Yeah. I just realized that my
You want to try and get in the water?
kind of.
All right, well, let's try. So it appears to me that if you were to drop down, I don't think it's urgent, but to drop down, let's ground track and see if it'll take you over to the water.
Right. Okay.
Oh, Dave's inflated now.
Oh, yep, yep.
I hope they fly.
Me too, me too. The good news is that with Joe as his other, he can theoretically log that.
Yep.
He had been talking about taking it up with Corey,
Yeah.
which is perfectly fine, but can't log that. Windmill or something there.
Yeah. These fences always make me curious.
Whose land is where and what?
Exactly, because we're on city land now, and the lake is also city land. So then what's this little square fence?
Right, right.
And I think the school property starts on the main road and goes over.
Yes.
I don't know that the school property comes to this side at all. I don't know. Okay, so have you ever done a splash and dash before?
Nope. Well, I mean, not as pilot.
So the idea is you obviously want to come in and just barely skim the water.
Sure.
An inch or two deep is perfect. And in general, especially with this situation, you really do want to sort of ground track your way into it rather than diving in. Just
it's not very deep, so
that's right.
We don't want to do too much of that.
The other thing to be really cautious of is that, especially if the water is calm, you may not be able to judge where the surface is.
Right.
That's one of the advantages of like a river, is that it's moving and you can see enough ripples.
Sure.
But in a lake situation, sometimes it can be that you just can't see where the surface is. And it's much like touching the ground. You want to be real careful, just because the water will catch you a little bit.
Right.
You want to be careful to have your hands off the burner at that point. Now you feel that wind in your face?
Mm-hmm.
That's the cold air on the water is sort of sucked into a cold, a stable air mass. So what I anticipate is, as you go out past this island, we should start to slow down. We'll also get a little bit of a right turn.
Difficult judging the actual
Surface.
Right.
Yeah. And notice that we've entered a colder air mass, and now the balloon's lighter.
Yes.
Nice. Well done. And actually, I think the fact that you're climbing out is good, because I think we'll hopefully
Get
pick
some
up that
left.
left again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
First time, huh?
First time.
And isn't it amazing how difficult it is to see the water?
It is. It is. That's awesome.
Now we're dripping.
Yep.
That's a photo opportunity.
Suddenly I felt not stable in my head. water really screws with my perspective.
Yeah. So you're descending now, but you may not be aware of it.
The balloon was getting bigger on the reflection, so.
That's an indicator, right?
Fun.
I'm glad they've got this water back in there.
Go back up and see if I can't get any more left.
Yeah.
Kilo Chaser, Kilo Sunrise.
That'd be nice if we could stay left of the road.
Tequila Sunrise here, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good to go ahead and go in here to the reservoir.
I think so, yeah.
I feel like you've already picked up just that little bit of left, right?
Yeah.
So I would say we were.
Yeah, a little more than 2 inches.
Did you do a splash and dash?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. A lot further down than I thought it was.
Oh, you were a lot colder than you thought?
Yes.
And be careful, this wicker can be kind of slippery, right, when it's wet.
I knew we were coming down, but
The reflections of the clouds and everything, that water is man, it'll screw up your perspective every time.
it did. It did. Some drippy reflection pictures.
But even that second one that you felt like was much deeper than you thought,
Right.
still not bad.
Right.
Okay, so now you can see the edge of the water,
Yeah.
which isn't water anymore,
Right,
but then
right.
the fence,
Yeah.
and then the
just
road.
past that. Yeah. Get past that fence so we can get to that road.
They are flying. Good, I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah, I had put my crescent wrench back in my toolbox, which is in the Subaru.
Oh, okay. They don't need it for this gig, though.
They had been using it for that. They locked it,
Oh, okay.
but I hadn't heard anything back on the radio. So.
Yeah, and we don't see him in here, so that could be a little bit concerning. If we do get a right turn, remember we've got these power lines over here.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, he's in the field. He's good.
Okay, good.
I think it's calm enough to keep it standing if you want to.
Definitely the second bounce is harder.
It is. And I think it's about being prepared.
Right.
Splashing dash and landing it by the road.
I know.
Just showing off now.
Ah.
But we've got this red snake out here. We shouldn't be on top of it, but just be cautious of that. And Phil, can you move that block of wood right there? Just throw it to the side for us. Nice job.
Thank you. Alright, show my fire here. Turn this off. All right, I'm gonna start pulling it. It'll be all yours now, guys.
Right at 1 hour.
Nice.
Hour and 2 minutes or something like that. Well, other than the fact it never warmed up, that was a pretty nice flight.
That was awesome, actually.
And I'm glad the other 3 guys got up as well.
Yes.
Did. 2 of them.
I wanted to see it. That's okay. Yeah. Should not have had that coffee.
No, chicken a little bit.
training for June, right? I talked to Scott last night. He's getting excited about bringing balloons up here.
Yep. Talked to Damien earlier this week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So did you notice this morning that we had a twist in it?
Well, I noticed it was,
I think that's a result of doing the fold over maneuver,
oh yeah.
because it tends to put a half twist about 10 feet up.
Oh, okay. Alright.
We've got enough of us today. Let's sort of bag it. Well, let's think about this. Its next event is an annual, right?
Yes, but he wants me to go take it out and put it standard up.
Oh, that's
so
right, because he wanted to see how the ropes. Okay, so then it doesn't matter. I was thinking of packing it backwards,
Right.
but.
Just laying when he's rolling
Oh
on
yeah.
it.
you, sir.
Let's not break that basket down just yet. Let's practice that revive because it's
Okay.
nice and calm here.
Yep.
The idea of the cart doesn't sound too bad right now,
No, it
does it?
doesn't. Especially with all this incline we got going on here.
Yeah, you can just roll that cart right down.
Yeah.
About a half a twist to it then.
But snaking it.
Yeah. Yeah, is there a better way to place that in there? All these tables would be better.
Typically, what I'll do is get these inside of the scoop.
It's locked, but you lift it up on the one side.
Single pin hinges, so you just pop it off the
You
hinges.
didn't even need a tool.
It will take two people because it wants to lay down, so the two pins don't want to lay up or line up. So we need one person on the other end to kind of line it up, and the other person to guide it.
Right.
Be able to get our little,
That's right.
Should try to do it from this way and get the balloons in the background.
all right, fine. Gosh.
Always the artist, aren't you?
All right. Sure, we got 2 dots now. We'll take the extra dots, all right.
Fuck off, Scott. It was a good idea, okay?
Hating on me, use the dagger.
So you did 2 splash dashes, huh?
Yeah.
Doubled it.
All I could see on the glimpse was